It's 4:30, June the 10th. This is 4:30 a.m. And I don't know what that is. It's all by itself. Very strong lights. And it's rectangular, but it's almost it's about twice as long than it is high. And it has all these strong lights, and there's absolutely nothing else around it. It's just all by itself. And there's nothing on the bottom of it. It looks suspended in midair. And there's absolutely nothing on the bottom of it. And it's really high up. And that's it's not on anything. It's suspended and it's high up. Now, there's some buildings way behind it by the lake, but they're pretty far behind it, maybe a kilometer behind it. And this is like right in the middle of nowhere, just suspended like that. And all these lights, and there are no poles or anything there. There is nothing at all on the bottom of this. There's no poles. Just lights in this box-like thing. And it's not on anything or suspended from anything. It's really high up. It's a couple of 100 feet off the ground for sure. And, now, look how he changed shape. It's all hexahedrons. It was square just a minute ago. I mean rectangle. Did you see that? It changed right in front of the camera. So that's some kind of a vessel, for sure. Look at that. It's hexahedrons right now. And just before it was a rectangular thing. Now it's glowing a lot. Okay, here it's back to lights. Okay. I have no idea what this is. I've never seen it before. I can see orbs all over the place in the air, but they're small in comparison. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 bright lights, and those bright lights are large orbs or orb clusters. And you can see that there's a lot of smaller orb clusters that look like snow all over, but there are larger orb clusters right in front of it. And it just turned into a few hexahedrons just before. Look at this orb, how round it is right there on the bottom. This one and the one on top of it. They're smaller but very round. Now they don't look anything like these ones. They're very bright, much brighter, and look at the shape of them. And there seems to be something in that corner. And I don't know what that is. Right there. On that corner. Some kind of a energy field, it looks like to me. And this corner, it has the orbs. And even smaller orbs, they're the yellow ones on the very corner. And then some, lots of small white orbs all over. And that's what it looks like, and it's really high up in the air, a couple of 100 feet for sure. And it has those 3 very bright orbs on the bottom, the 2 on the left being larger, and the one on the right, just off the right corner, bottom, is smaller and very round and less bright than the other ones. And then there's one on the bottom of all of them, and on the bottom of the thing on the left hand side, and the thing looks like a box, and has no writing, nothing. This is a clear shot of it, being that the orb, there's a lot of orbs in the air. I mean, it's as clear a shot as you can get. And those orbs in the front, the clusters, they're very bright. But the whole thing, the clusters in that box-like structure is in mid-air. And look at that. I'm just gotta back it up a little bit more. That's what it looks like. And you're just suspended in mid-air. And there's absolutely nothing around there. I know that because I take a lot of video there in the daytime. And there's woods below that, but they're like at least 100 or more feet, a couple of 100 feet down. And this is high up in the air. I'd say it's about 250 to 300 feet up from the ground. Look, there's nothing at all around it. I can judge by the height of those new street light poles. They're pretty high. They're like almost 100 feet or more up in the air. So this thing is a lot higher than the poles, and it's just suspended. I have no clue what it is. I've never seen it before. And there it is. It's not structure of any sort, and it's not near any structure. The buildings behind it are a kilometer behind it, and there's nothing around it or below it. It's just suspended, and before the whole thing changed into just hexahedrons. Now I don't know if those clusters changed into hexahedrons to block the view of that thing, because the hexahedrons covered the whole thing. But that is odd. I've never seen that one before. I just want to see this little cluster here on the right hand side, or that's in the middle right now. There's a lot of energy all around it. Just back this off a little bit. There's a lot of energy around that whole thing, especially on the left bottom corner. There's a lot of energy on that side. So I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's a new one for me. But it's a definite solid object, suspended in midair, about 250 feet or 300 feet from the ground, with nothing else around that whole area. It's just by itself, and those 4 big lights, 3 on the bottom of it, and 1 below them, and there's nothing very close to them or anything like that. It's just in the middle of nowhere. So that whole area there is just nothing there. There are buildings right behind that, but they're about a kilometer behind that. There's a whole big complex, and that makes up part of the skyline. But this is between the lake shore part and central Toronto. And that area has nothing but woods. So I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know. But I just saw it change before, and it was not lens flare. It just changed. It changed while I was backing off from it, not going to it. And it stayed like that for a few seconds. I don't know what it is. It looks like it's a solid object, and it looks like a box, and it's rectangular, and it has a lot of orbs, both glowing white and yellow orbs there on the right hand side. And looks like it has a large energy field there. I don't know if that's a propulsion system right there. It's possible that the bottom is some sort of propulsion system, especially there on the left hand side. And those lights could be just lights on the bottom of it. And that could be a propulsion system. It looks like there's some kind of energy coming out of there. I've never seen anything square like that or rectangular like that flying before. It's definitely not a streamlined object, but it looks like it has a lot of power. It doesn't need streamlining. I mean, that's a lot of power. Whatever kind of power it is, it's a lot of power. Look at this whole side. It looks like there's power coming out of that side. The whole thing looks like it's surrounded in one large energy field. And there's a clear shot. You could see the energy just going all around it. And it's hovering. You can see it slightly moving, and the camera is not moving at all. So the object is hovering, and you can see the slight hover. So it's not on anything or attached to anything. It's in a hover, and you can see that it's slightly in motion up and down every now and then. So it's trying to maintain a hover, and you can see the energy just streaming all across it and changing. It's like a force field of some sort. This is the weirdest one I've seen that's like a box. I mean, I've never seen one like that. It's not streamlined whatsoever, but it looks like it's got all kinds of energy, and it doesn't seem to maybe work like the flying vehicles we use, like jets or anything like that. This looks like something that came from someplace else, and it's just really different. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna start guessing, but it is a solid object about 250 feet to 300 feet up in the air in the middle of a sort of nowhere. There's nothing around it or below it. It's suspended and it's in a hover. You can see that it's hovering the way it's moving. So I'll just leave it there because I don't know what it is. I'll just let the camera do its thing, because I went close up and there's really only energy and stuff like that. It's better to look at it from here and show what it's gonna do, but you can tell it's in a hover because it's moving up and down a little bit. It's not steady. The camera is not moving at all. I am not even outside. I'm shooting through a window inside the house, and the window is open. There's no glass or anything, and this did change before, and it looked like a couple of hexahedrons that blocked the whole image, and that was not lens glare. So you could see it hovering and moving slightly up and down. It's in a pretty steady hover. I mean, I don't know any helicopter that could do it like that for this long without moving even more. But it's definitely in a hover. And that's the weirdest thing I've seen. And you can see on the on the left-hand side bottom, that there's a lot of energy there on that side. And you can see that on the bottom in the middle, there's a lot of energy, and that large light or orb cluster. I think it's an orb cluster, but the whole like just pulsating with energy. Look at that. And that's a lot of energy. Whatever it is, it's got power. And that's a lot of power. I mean, it's rare to see that kind of power like that. So go back up a little bit, catch that orb on the bottom. That's what it looks like. There's absolutely nothing around it. It's a box, flying box. So there are no posts or anything holding those lights, and it's too high up to have a post. It's just way up in the sky. I mean, it's the same level as I'm at. I'm shooting it straight across. I'm on the 18th floor. So it's 18 stories up in the air, and it's not a building. There's no building anywhere there. The buildings are a kilometer back in back of it. So I don't know how many feet 18 stories are. I'll say 250 feet or so, maybe 300. I'm not sure how many feet 18 stories comes out to, because I'm shooting it straight across on level. And you could see that the thing is hovering even from a distance. It's just kind of hovering there and moving a little bit. I'll come in close one more time and finish it up. I don't want to make the video too long. I've been making videos too long lately. So there it is. The whole thing right there. And at times it looks like it's transparent, like you could almost see through it. And then at other times it looks like it's solid. But it does look transparent even now. You could see through part of it on the left and on the right, top right and towards the bottom left. It looks like you could see right through it. So it has a solid appearance, but it looks transparent. And it looks like a box, but it's a rectangle. And the length is twice as long as the height. It has 3 lights on the bottom. The 2 on the left bottom are larger and more bright, and the one in the middle is smaller and more round. And there's a larger light also on the bottom below all of them. And I don't see any relationship. It's not attached or anything. That light is by itself. And that's not attached to anything either, but it's not attached to the top where the box is. That's by itself, and the other 3 are with the box. But I don't know if they're attached to the box or just hovering with the box. But the box is hovering, and you can see that it's moving slightly up and down. And I'm in the house. The camera is on a stand. I'm not touching it, and there is no shaking. The box is hovering and slightly moving up and down every now and then. And I don't know what else to call it than a flying box. But it appears like it's transparent sometimes, and the rest of the time it looks very solid. There's a lot of orbs all over the place in the air. They're smaller, but they're also on the structure. So I'm just gonna go closer. That's what the structure looks like. And you can see it even moving left and right slightly if you watch it carefully. It's not just going up and down, it's moving slightly left and right. So it's in a hover, and it's really busy, high energy state. Whatever the thing is, it's packed with energy. And you look at all that energy, it's like an energy field all around it. And look at it hover. It's moving more now. You can see that the whole thing is moving. It's in a hover. I'm not even touching the camera. And you can see the energy field. And it's so just like real strong. So now I'm gonna back off a little to show it. Let's see if I can see movement or hover or anything. Yeah, I can detect that it's slightly moving. So that's some sort of a vehicle. I don't know what kind of a vehicle, I've never seen it before. But that's a vehicle, and the orbs may or may not be part of it, or they could be just alongside of it. Sometimes these things come with orbs all around them. But the thing itself looks like it's solid, and then you can almost see through it sometimes, and it's surrounded by an energy field. On the left side bottom there's a lot of energy. It looks, that's where the engine would be, if it has an engine. That's where the energy seems to be coming out, on the left bottom, because there's a lot more energy on the left bottom portion than on the right. Let me just get in there. Okay, the right and the left. So, and that looks like a craft of some sort, but I've never seen a box fly like that. So I have no clue what that is. It's some kind of a flying object. It's in the air, obviously, and it's in a hover. And now it's 10 to 5, and my video is probably too long already. I don't know how long it's going to stay there, but I have some things I have to do, and I can't sit here for too long. And I want to get this thing put on the big screen and check it out, see what I can see, because right now I'm looking at the 2" by 3" screen or something like that, and it's small, but I can clearly see that that thing is in a hover, and I can see those large lights, and I can see, when I close in on it, I can see the energy that thing is just surrounded with. And it's in a high state of energy. It's in a hover. You can see the movement. I'm not touching the camera. That's the object itself moving it slightly up and down and left to right. It's maintaining a good hover. It's not losing altitude or anything, and it's not moving side to side too much in any direction. It's got tremendous energy, whatever kind that is. That's a lot of energy, and that's an energy field all around it. And the object sometimes looks like you could see through it, and at other times it looks very solid. So I've never seen it before, and I don't know what it is, but you could see a lot of action, and a lot of vortices right there, especially on the left hand side now. There's two vortices, one on top of the other, maybe more, maybe 3 or 4. There seems to be something spinning like a drill. That could be the engine, because there's a lot of light and power coming off that side. But if you look at the left hand side, it looks like some sort of spinning motion, and it looks just like a drill would spin. The motion is counterclockwise, and it looks like orbs spinning, but sort of like in a drill fashion, and that's producing all the energy. And the energy field itself. So I don't know what kind of energy source that is. I've never seen that before. Okay, but that's where it is, right there where the motor is, or where I think the motor is, on the left side at the bottom there, and going upwards towards the top. That's where the vortices are taking place. And then there's a smaller one on the right hand top corner there, just below the right hand top corner, and then there are more bright lights there too, so it could have two engines or something, but I don't know what type of engines those would be. And that's what you can see, because those are inside of it. They're not on the outside. They're not mounted. That's what's inside of the object, and the object is transparent, but it appears like it's solid from a distance. Now I can see it with my naked eyes, and it's maybe it's less than 50 feet across. It's about between 30 and 50 feet across. That's my estimate. And maybe 15 feet high. That's what it looks like with my naked eye, judging from how far it is, and that's how big it looks. It's maybe 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, maybe even 5. It's hard to say. It's not light enough for me to make a decent estimate. It's still too dark, but that's not mounted on anything. There are buildings, big complex of buildings behind that, but not right there. There's nothing right there. There's nothing below it, and it's not attached to anything. It's in a hover. It's in a hover. Yeah, you can see that it's moving. It's not maintaining a perfect steady state. It's moving left to right, and it's moving up and down, and very slightly. But over there, that could be a lot more. It's just that I'm so far away. It looks like it's very slight. Over there, that could be like a few feet each way. I don't know. I'm too far away to tell. But it's definitely in motion. And look at all the energy. Just let me come into it. Look at all that energy. So I have no clue what that is. That's the first time I've seen it. And it's transparent. You can see right into it. So it's a transparent real object. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't think it's made out of glass or anything, but you can actually see inside of it. And but it appears very solid from like this position. You know, when you come closer, you can actually see inside. Those things are not mounted on it. Those are inside. The darker structures on the top right and on the bottom left. The darker structures, not the bright lights. Those are inside. So I don't know if those are some type of being or form, but it looks like they're engines. That's what it looks like to me, because I can see orbs going around and around like a drill on both sides. I'm just gonna come in real close to see if they're a drill. Here's what it looks like. So they're definitely spinning. Those darker structures, bottom left and top right, they're like vortices, and it looks like they're engines. So they're engines of some sort. I don't know what kind. I've never seen this one. But those are engines. They're providing the power and the energy field for the entire structure. And there it is as a whole. So that's around 5 kilometers away, and that was at least 400 zoom when I closed in. You can see that there's a lot of orbs in the air all over, all those little white things flying around. Those are orbs, but this thing is not an orb. This is looking like a box, and it's sort of transparent. You can see inside, but those two things are some sort of engines. Orbs are revolving very fast and providing the power, like in vortices. And I've never seen this before. And the thing is in a hover. It's at around 250, 300 feet. I don't know. It's 18 stories high, like me. I'm shooting straight across at 5 kilometers, or about 5 kilometers. It's difficult to tell. So I'm going to leave it there. My battery's going to run out. I just got the thing. Okay. Thanks for watching.